Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Odessa, the Dark Crusade, Season 2, because apparently that's important. No. This evening's scene is going to be set far from the walls of Odessa, far from the prying eyes of the court, in the middle of nowhere. Well, nowhere is inherently somewhere, but then again, we couldn't possibly comment on the nature of where nowhere is. Shh. Anyway. A great tent has been set up, made almost, you could say, from silk. A great billowing pavilion that may have been reminiscent of 1,001 Arabian Nights, of stories long since gone by, of sheiks who would deal with jinn beneath the moonlit sky. It is here that certain individuals have been invited, certain friends, certain acquaintances have been sent invitations to a lavish feast in their honor in order to discuss the concepts of business, a new business, a great business. As they enter, there is the soft playing of pan flutes. There are exquisite beauties from Hispania to Arabia, from the far frozen north all the way to the Numidian sands. Male and female, there to tempt with delectations. The Solahdrin himself is seated at the head of a long table upon which a great feast has been laid of many dishes. And as his guests arrive, he will stand and he will offer them polite salutations and humble greetings.
You're called a business, soon to be called at arms. Does attract a fairly large entourage. You have caught the attention of several criminal groups within the county. Currently about half a dozen, at least the sort of ones that tend to roam outside the city, around the region, around the county, as opposed to being firmly entrenched within one domain or another. They come with a fairly sizable security force for each of them. And not all are necessarily the respective known leaders of their organizations. Some are, as they're known as the number twos, the second in command. Some are merely acting as representatives for organizations that like to act a bit more prim and proper than they actually are, as this is still crime. And you've also caught the attention of Dvorstedt, who have sent a representative of their own.
Despite the fact they weren't invited.
Yep, you're right. And they come with a very large entourage as well. One of the largest, but not the largest.
All right.
They will present themselves to you, although not in a particularly noble way. Some of them attempt to be very polite about things and very diplomatic. Others are a lot more forward and direct. Very much street code, as it were.
Solahdrin is seated, as I said, at the head of a table. I'm just going to glance around them with aura perception, if that's okay, because I want to know who's a ghoul in this room, or hell, if there's a kindred in this room. Is that agreeable?
Yeah, you can use aura perception.
Which dice roller do we want to use?
Stealing this. Oh yeah, there you go. I call it bandit circles.
There you go.
Name. It's a name that is a thing.
I mean, I like names. Wow, okay, 4 successes on my aura perceptions. I know what they feel, who they are, and what they had for breakfast.
Okay, so there's about half a dozen people, including the half a dozen reps, including the Vorstadt. Also, would you like to roll my perception awareness, difficulty 8?
I really would, you know.
I'll give you the results for that one last. Yeah.
I was gonna say, does my Allspecs lower the difficulty?
No, this is not for this roll, no.
Okay, I'm gonna spend a willpower if that's okay.
No, this is a discipline roll, so you can't. This is relevant to your Allspecs rating.
2
you get 2 successes, and it's not a contested roll. So yes, behind the Vorstadt representative, you do in fact see this man. He is staring intently at you. I assume you stare at him.
Then very calmly walks up. How much of a show do I want to make? Because I've met this individual before.
Mm-hmm.
Filthy Assamite cunt.
No, you know this isn't an Assamite.
Oh no! Sorry, who was that? I thought there was an Assamite.
And this guy's the Ravnos Scourge. It's Nirav. So it's not an Assamite, so you know, at least you don't need to worry about that. No Assamites here, at least from what you can see.
I'll point out, because this may be important. This is outside of Odessa's domain.
Oh yeah.
But this is Solahdrin. You know what? I'm going to.
Before you do, I want to give you the results of your aura perception.
Oh, cool.
So most of them appear to be shades of lavender and light green.
Oh god, do I have to check the fucking color chart now? I hate
of light blue. So basically, they are quite conservative. A little bit distrustful. And then fairly calm. One of them turns up a tint of red. Looks like he's in a sour mood. This isn't particularly surprising to you. It's of all the colors and emotions you expect to see in crime lords, distrust and caution are 2 of them that you find fairly common. In fact, you're more surprised that they don't have more elements of purple, red, and brown in them, which would be anger, bitterness, and aggression.
by the way, sorry, because I should have done this. Shall I roll hunting? Because Bishop, I'm going to kill the Scourge in this scene.
Okay.
Okay. He stepped out of the domain and he came here himself. You filthy Ravnos cunt. Sorry. I'm also not a huge fan of the Ravnos at the moment. Ever since they broke my my thing, but it's fine. Also, I don't like people creeping into my things. So should I just do standard feeding and blood and such?
Yes. Just do standard hunting.
Basically, before he left, I will have just said to the warrior coterie again, don't hunt tonight. I need to use your hunting grounds because that just makes life easier. To be fair, I haven't. All he's been doing since is really just subsisting on the herd because like he hasn't been actively hunting because he doesn't have the domain to actively hunt.
Yeah, you can always hunt in the rack. So.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He's not very blood orientated. Like he has enough herd to sustain him, so that's really all he needs.
Yeah.
So that's going to be. Let's spend for obfuscate, which means it goes down to that. Holy shit! So that is going to be 6 plus 5 is 11. Plus 4 is 15. And you know what? I have I'll hunt again at difficulty 6 if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can hunt twice. Another 2, so I'm on 18 blood. Holy shit, that's a lot of blood.
It's a lot of blood. Oh, nasty ones in that one though.
Yeah, let's hope that gets all of them out of the way for the start. So yeah, so he opens his arms wide as they enter, and he says, "Welcome, welcome, my friends. Please, won't you sit down, my dear." What symbol do the Vorstedt have as their symbol?
That's a good question. Never actually made one.
Something Russian.
Something vaguely in a vein that melds Russian and Middle Eastern art styles because they're kind of in that middle ground, you know, where Russia kind of meets the Middle East.
He looks down at the member of the Vorstedt and he says, "I see that your master is outside. Bring him in. Tell him he must join us."
The Vorstedt representative, who's again a Middle Eastern man, a bit scruffy looking, but more well presented than basically everybody else at the table, and fairly well armed. Very well armed, actually.
He's a ghoul, isn't he?
He is absolutely a ghoul, yes.
Okay. On a side note, I should also point out, just because we never actually stated, or we should state this in advance, I have all three of my ghouls here with me, along with about another 20 or so people, because just in case the man at the back says everyone attack and it turns into a ballroom blitz.
Okay. The Vorstedt representative just goes, "I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm here to represent my my number one in this capacity."
Oh, I understand. Because bear in mind, Bishop, this is meant to have been a quasi-secret meeting, so he's kind of wondering how the Vorstedt found out. It's okay that they found out, but the Seneschal never let me know that the Scourge would be coming in his official capacity, because this is meant to be private, secret, let's fuck over a whole bunch of things. Because, let's fuck over Mary the Black for fun and profit. That's what we're going to call this. We're going to call this the Fuck Over the Mary the Black Club, right? For fun and profit. So he just leans forward and he smiles really sweetly. And he says, oh, I see. That is very interesting. I had hoped in my heart of hearts that I would get to see a man with honor. But then again, it would appear as though I asked too much. No, that's wrong. He is an honorable man, a very honorable man, your master. So, welcome, my friends. Welcome.
The,
Let me know when he decides to actually deobfuscate himself or start trying to stab me.
No, he's he just has a very largely raised eyebrows, just raised very high right now. He hasn't said anything. In fact, he's barely almost moved. You do notice he's quite good at remaining statuesque. He doesn't move much. The only part of his body that's really moving is when you move, and he shifts ever so slightly to keep looking at you. But other than that, he doesn't really move all that much, other than his facial expressions changing a little bit under his veil.
Two important questions, Bishop. One, if he was in astral form here, and I could see would I know it was an astral form? Would I be able to say that is an astral form?
Generally, astral forms do not look to be this solid. Yeah.
Cool. My friends, he says, he rises from the table magnanimously. I've brought you here into the night to enjoy my hospitality, but also to tell you of a vision that I've had for what seems an eternity. A vision of wealth and prosperity beyond the dreams of avarice, beyond the concepts of Midas, a dream in which you can all share with me. Now, my friends, is that not wonderful? He stands up and he walks down the line of them as people are as wine is poured into glasses. This is obviously the spiked wine. And he proceeds to reach into the fold of his robe and he takes out a gold drachma, or whatever the coin we use is, and he drops it. He drops 1, 2, 3, 4. He's basically dropping coins in front of the people on the table. Just dreams of wealth and avarice, dreams that I will have you and see you all fulfill. You may ask me what are the particulars of this, and I may indeed tell you. It's rather simple, really. How would I phrase this? I ask you all, a dream. What is the value of a dream?
One of the representatives pipes up and says, I don't know, how much you paying?
He will casually reach into his pocket and draw out a bag of gold and dump it on the table like it's nothing. How about a sheik's ransom? Well, you see, my friends, we stand upon the doorstep to the door of fate. Edessa has grown rich and decadent. Its armies, the Caliph, all of these things no longer know to fear conflict. The Franks have gone the way of old empires. To dust they have turned. So now we look out to the horizon that is tomorrow, and we smile sweetly. I have brought you here in order to... How long have we been disparate groups, the fingers of a hand, when we could become the fist? All we needed is someone willing to take us that extra step, to take us that final breath of a hair from success, minor success, to victory. When they, in Edessa, burned out Riverside, we laughed, we scorned. We had already moved away our businesses. What did they get but some broken whores and broken buildings? But now it is time for there to be a new regime, a new order of things. Edessa is ripe for the taking. All we need do is reach out and pluck it. And gentlemen, you are the instrument of this. And in this victory, you will all share. And I'm going to roll manipulation subterfuge because I'm lying through my snaky teeth.
I'll roll perception empathy 5 times. I think one of them needs to be stood out a little bit, but that's 2 successes.
I have to check my my specs and things.
Yeah, well, they're getting consistently 2 successes, so you should be okay. Well, that person got 3.
Ooh, he's dangerous.
I think the ghoul will actually have to roll as well, but he'll roll higher. He actually has social skills. Oh wow, 3 success is the threshold right now, it seems. Roll for the ghoul. Oh, the ghoul only got 2. He does not have a specialty. Someone rolled 6 dice.
I was gonna say, was that the Scourge? Did he just have a sad?
No, that wasn't the Scourge.
Oh.
Scourge is not rolling.
I am going to experiment to see if the Scourge is actually here in a moment, but sorry, I just have to check his stats. So he has manipulation of 4, his subterfuge of 3, so 7 dice. Because of Serpentis 1, I roll a difficulty 5. I love that sweet Serpentis 1. And Bishop, I'm going to spend another willpower if that's okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Not. 1, 2, 3. 3 successes total. So some believe, some disbelieve. Which makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah. Some have doubt in their hearts. Others look less convinced. There is one that looks a bit how to say most skeptical. She'll just say, "Okay, so what's in this for you?"
Interesting question, my dear. Interesting question.
It's a fairly straightforward one. She does have a nasty scar on the side of her face, and she does look very broad. She looks tough. She's outside of Vorstadt. She looks like the most well-armed person here, and she doesn't look like she's here for diplomacy. Or rather, if she came here for diplomacy, she is half expecting a bust up.
What do I get from this? Well, that is an interesting question. I get to be the man who brought together the fist, to wield it, my dear. I have means beyond question. I have gifts that await you all outside. the first taste of a token of my generosity. And when the dust settles, there will only be one lord of the underworld in Edessa, and it will be me. I can prove this with strength of arms, guile, money, whichever you feel is the most appropriate test. By the way, at this point, let's bleed some stuff into some stuff.
Oh my! I have a few questions for you, Solahdrin, because that was literally as many successes I could have gotten on this roll.
I didn't quite hear you.
Your scales are covered, right?
Yeah, he only has scales on one of his hands, and he wears gloves perpetually.
Okay, that's good. Just double checking that. One of the other representatives then speaks up. The lady makes a good point. Why should we fall on your sword?
My sword, friend, you say? Really? An interesting choice of words. The answer is simple. Strength leads. As I've said, you will all be made wealthy beyond your dreams of capricious avarice. You will all have what you desire. In the end, the Brotherhood of Euphrates are weak. They have simply come to expect control. If they are challenged, they will fold like old women who do not even know which way to be fucked anymore. As for the Vorstedt who come to my meeting despite not being welcomed, well, slavers, you cull the weak because you cannot have strength yourselves. But then again, illusion has always been your ply and trade, the illusion of strength.
I'm sorry, what organization do you run in Edessa again?
Bishop, he is going to very calmly walk up, smile, and smash the head off the table repeatedly until it is pulp. I am going to brutally murder fuck this ghoul.
Okay. I think we're going to roll initiative then.
Hooray! I just need to get all of my stuff.
He's equipped with a sword and some composite armor, and that's about it. So.
Okay. Solahdrin is just wearing his own light armor, and he's wearing his he's wearing one of his spiked gauntlets. Actually, he'll wear the spiked gauntlet on the hand that has the scales because it makes the most sense. It's really heavy duty, so taking it off is difficult. At the moment, my dexterity is 7, my wits is 11, so that's... I'm going on an 18.
Nice. A roll for Ghoulie McGhoul guy. Actually has a pretty good stat line for this. I think he actually gets +8. No, he gets +7 because of the armor. There's a 9 and...
Oh my god, is the actual... If the Ravnos kicks in on this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
What organization do you run in Edessa again? The I beat you to motherfucking death. I mean, come on, that's like the most warrior set-type thing to do, though, let's be fair.
What is his thing? Okay. Hey, you go first.
He goes to react. Basically, so as initiative goes, Solahdrin goes to react, meaning he goes to slam, but he then sees the fact that the actual scourge is going to act, because that's how initiative order works, if you get me.
He doesn't go to strike. In fact, all he does is he looks outside. But he doesn't look to take a strike at you. He looks outside.
Bishop, as a coincidental action, can I kick up? Like, this would not be an actual action. It would just kind of determine what I do next. He's going to kick up the dust from the floor on the raveners.
Okay.
Just to see if he's actually physically there.
Okay. I have to roll wit stealth to maintain obfuscate. He's fairly good at. Let's say this is. Diff 6. Him to work with. It's not great, but it's something. So yeah, you go to take the ghoul on. You just roll for that if you want to grab him.
No, I'm actually going to roll. I'm actually going to punt. Okay, first I'm going to spend some blood for celerity and for potence.
Okay.
So yeah, so at the moment my pool is that. Okay, so that's 4, 3 bleed over. At the moment, my strength is that plus 3 plus 2. So give me just a moment. Obviously, the ones don't take away from that, so that's 1, 2, 3. Wow, that was a shit roll. So that's 6 levels of lethal to him.
Oh, you punching him in the face?
Yes.
Okay. Cold shots on the head are plus 2 diff, just so you know.
Oh shit! Yeah, hang on. I can go back and hang on. I will refactor the roll.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll just stick with his rolls, I think.
Okay, cool. To be fair, the damage roll kind of fucked me in that situation anyway. It could have been much better, but
the one doesn't take away though, so
yeah. So it's 3 successes plus the potent, so it's 6 damage. Does he have armor on his head?
No, he doesn't. So he won't get to use his armor here. You have potence 2 though, not potence 3.
I thought I potence 3. Okay, sorry, my bad. In that case, it's 2. It's 5 levels of lethal.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna double check your spends real quick, make sure that I didn't miss anything in any of these spends. But I. No. Third page. Nope. No, yeah, it's just potence 2 you have. So you do 5 levels of lethal. He's going to reflexively spend for fortitude as ghouls. He will use a soak.
How much soak does he have?
Fair bit. He's a high level ghoul, so he has quite a lot of inherent attribute dice. He only gets the 1 success though, so he soaks through. He soaks 2 of it.
Important question. What's his stamina?
What I just rolled for him. So he isn't stunned because he takes 3 lethal, but he has 4 stamina. So you throttled him. He's not actually dead.
Nope. It now defaults to the action for his boss.
Yes. And
I live my life by the motto of YOLO.
he just looks outside, looks back to you. He seemingly doesn't take an action, but you hear the cry of a middle-aged man shouting "To arms!" in Arabic, and about you're not sure how many people heading towards the tent. Dozens? The Volstead had a fairly large entourage with them.
That's fine. Bear in mind what happened the last time Solahdrin fought an entire group of people.
Mm-hmm.
It ended sad for them. So is that going to be his action?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Actually, I have a question. How did he communicate so... Oh, no, that's fair. I'll be quiet.
There's so many different ways you can do that in the Kindred world.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair. So it's now Punch Face McGee's action.
It's Punch Face McGee, and he got punched very fucking hard. To be fair, you slammed his head into the table, so I mean, you hit him extremely hard, and you do have potence, so you smashed him probably through the table. Would that be fair to say?
Solahdrin's response is, I'm basically gonna, yeah, I'm happy to say that. His response is going to be, soon the Vorstadt will be nothing but ruins. What?
The ghoul injured, but not not dead, and surprisingly spry for someone who just got his head smashed through the table. His nose broken, but still breathing. He leaps up, and he does the sensible and cowardly thing and fucking runs. I will check his movement speed real quick because he has 3 health levels, so it does impact his movement speed if I recall. I think it just halves his movement speed. He's injured, so he is moving at half his movement speed. He's a bit staggered. He's not stunned, but you smashed his head through a table. No regular person just ignores that. So yeah, he kind of makes his way towards the entrance of the tent. He does actually make his way out because his movement speed is halved. It's not reduced to a few meters. But you can trivially catch up to him without taking a movement action or without taking a full action and just hit him again.
No. How are the other people around the table?
The lady on the overlay, as well as the people you didn't convince, appear startled by this and either appear to be preparing for combat themselves or prepping to get the fuck out. The ones you did convince are startled, but are taking this as the show of force you're intending it to be, so they are staying.
He is going to turn to the group, and he is going to say, the Vorstadt are nothing but cowards. Ultimately. What is your name, my lady? He'll say to the woman who has scars all over her face.
She you say this as she's getting up. She has a hand on her back at this point. It's on the hilt of a bastard sword. She says, "None of your concern. I'm not waiting here to die."
You won't die. Have my word. He will walk to the. He will walk to the window. He'll walk to the door of the tent. I'm assuming the Vorstadt are charging at the tent.
Yes, they do.
Okay. As has been previously noted in scenes, Solahdrin's men all carry crossbows.
Mm-hmm.
They're about to have a very sad charge.
You have a celerity action that you used. Do you use it for anything? Or do you just hold it? Do you just not use it? Well, you can just use it as this speaking action, basically. You can use it as that.
I could. Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
I'm gonna roll something for her as well.
What's her aura look like now?
Her aura?
That's unforeseen, so I can still.
Oh yeah, everybody's auras. They pretty much everybody's auras have changed substantially. There's substantial fear. Hers is largely purple and
Which
red.
is purple.
Yeah, hers. Most of the people, even the ones who didn't stay, the ones who you didn't convince, they turned a very sharp shade of orange. She does have a tint of orange, but it is largely purple, red, and brown.
What is the Scourge's aura? I can see his as well.
His is purple.
What's purple again?
Aggression. A substantial amount of light blue, though. Aggressive, but fairly calculated aggression.
He will hold out his hands to either side of him. I'm happy to let the celerity action go.
Okay.
Let me just keep a calculator of stuff. He withdraws on his celerity action, he is going to withdraw a small thimble or a small bottle from within the folds of his robe, and I'm going to drink 3 blood points because I have the ability. I have blood in bottles. Yeah.
Okay, make sure to blue bag that next time because I'm not sure if it's been blue booked.
Sorry, you just said you've got X amount of blood in bottles in my blue booking, so I'm like, can I just carry that around?
Yeah, you can. I'm just looking that up again because I think I did say that. I'm just trying to recall where I put it.
It's under my very long ass downtime.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, you're right. No, I see it now. Yeah, you definitely have more than enough, and it's they can all be in portable bottles. That's fine.
So then, I'm just trying to think. How many Vorstadt are there? Auspex is active, so my eyesight should be pretty perfect.
About as many as your guys, from what you can see.
Mm-hmm. Well then, I'm not going to force you to stay, gentlemen. Ladies, if you wish to leave, you may leave. By the way, is she a ghoul? The girl with the claws on her face, or is she a vampire?
She's neither. She's immortal.
Nice. Mind you, all of those people around the table have drunk my. I assume they have drunk at least some of the wine. Wine.
Yes. Not her. She didn't. Ooh. She went to taste it and she stopped.
He will turn. Yeah, he's going to say, if you wish to leave, you may leave.
She doesn't actually say a word as she leaves. As she runs out, the last thing you hear her say is "on me," and you can hear more footsteps. You kind of see her raise up her hand and make a circling gesture towards her men as they quickly move towards her. There is a bit of slight confusion between your men and hers at first as to whether there's going to be a fight, but after a couple of seconds, when it's clear that there's not a charge going on, that they're just moving towards her, they kind of refocus back on the Vorstedt, who they're actually fighting right now. You hear the whistling of bolts and arrows through the air. Some of the Vorstedt get sprayed down on the charge, but others absorb the ammunition and go to engage your men.
Now then, gentlemen, because bear in mind, the lion's share, because it was 3 against like 2 people who believed me, so more people believed me than disbelieved me.
Yes, you have a majority. I think the Vorstedt even it out.
So he will turn to them and he will say, "Those of you who do not wish to join me, do not raise hand against me, and you may leave. Those of you who wish to join me, we shall cut down these interlopers, like they were nothing but the cattle that they are. And then, gentlemen, no. He says this loud enough so she can hear. Then, gentlemen, the cart of gold that waits outside is yours for the taking." Because I did say I brought a cart of gold.
You did.
That is also, by the way, where my ghouls are guarding. So I'm just going to be fair and say that is where they're
Surprisingly, there has been no move made on your cart of gold, which is pleasantly surprising considering you're surrounded by criminals.
Yes. But he will then usher the people who are going to go and fight out of the tent, because I'm going to have myself and somebody else are going to have a few words, and they're going to be tasteful and creative. At that point, when people are kind of ushering out to basically go and hammer down the Vorstedt, because let's be fair, if the others around here don't involve themselves, I still have 3 other gang leaders who've basically said, we'll fight. We like this idea. Fuck the Vorstedt. That means we clearly have the numerical superiority. It will just be a matter of time, basically. Yeah. That is a correct assessment, yes?
You'll need to get ahead on for numbers in a later discussion of the leaders that are currently happy to work with you, as these organizations vary in size, so some may be larger than others.
By the way, I'm making a note that I'm going to track this woman down in blood and possibly embrace her. She seemed like she'd make a great childer. That's all I choose to say from a Setite warrior's perspective.
Okay.
Just making minor mental note there for myself more so than anything else. But as the others are ushering themselves out of the room, I'm going to pop whatchamacallit, or obfuscate 1 on this room, counting the tent as the room. So myself and the Scourge are going to have a conversation that will not be overheard. Because that's how obfuscate 1 works, I think.
Okay. The fighting is pretty fierce outside, and I'm going to roll a quick chance dice to usher out. Ooh, that's not good. In the middle of the fighting, one of the leaders who's been willing to work with you sustains a very grievous injury. It's not entirely sure whether they'll survive or not.
I'm gonna, yeah, that's fine. I'll force blood.
They're ushered off by their entourage. Because currently they're kind of being ushered through the middle of like a fight between about 70 plus people on like 35, like 30 to 40 people on each side. It's nasty.
As they all leave, basically, just so I can have my conversation, he'll let the there'll be that wonderfully melodramatic moment as the tent flaps close, that kind of little ooh. And he'll turn and he'll say, "I think that went rather well, don't you? Your name always escapes me.
Isnirov.
So, are you and I now going to have fisticuffs?
Do you want to have fisticuffs? Personally, I came here to get paid, but I suppose we can have a tussle if you wish.
Unfortunately, my friend, you embarked into this situation as a slight blunder. You were not one of the individuals who was meant to know about this meeting, but then again, I suppose the underworld works in mysterious ways.
You make a call to arms, you think we're not going to hear about it?
That is fair. That is fair. I understand this perspective very much. Yeah. Well, if it helps, he says, I value you as a warrior and as my competition. Should we roll initiative again?
No, he just kind of strokes. He literally navel gazes with his veil. And just kind of ponders this for a moment. Wonder if this is the underworld version of what they call a turning point maneuver.
Possibly. And then again, you have to understand that this is nothing personal, it's just business.
To be fair, you did almost kill my ghoul. That's pretty personal.
But then again, that was a sign of strength on my part, and now it will ripple through the underworld that they looked weak. It doesn't matter if you kill my men, they are immaterial. I can get more. And the same is true for you. But then again, I smoked down a demon single-handedly with a single strike. You may have your games and your shadow puppetry. Unlike the La Sombre, I'm led to understand yours are more vivid. But we shall see.
Only amateurs have puppets. Nice drink, by the way.
Thank you. If it helps in this particular situation, I am a puppet, unfortunately. I will even admit that to you. But then again, I suspect you don't know that. You probably think that I'm acting in this alone. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Oh, that is interesting. You have me there.
Yes. Actually, Bishop, from a really weird point of view, because I know the Seneschal controls is it the Temeshvar Brotherhood?
Talwar Sword Brothers.
The Talwar Sword Brotherhood. So
They're
ironically,
a mercenary company. They actually do own a fair amount of legal business as much as illegal.
I was going to say, but if the Vorstedt were to suddenly implode in on themselves, which if I kill him, they probably will, there'd be like a massive power vacuum and people would start murdering each other to get to the top.
Centralized leadership would be an issue, yeah.
It would ironically even be a positive step for the Seneschal. Mind you, they'd have to get a new Scourge, but then again...
That's, kind of puts the court in a very awkward position.
So, how do we resolve this, my friend? Unfortunately, as I said, I am here proxying much greater powers than myself. And much greater powers than you.
Ooh, how frightening.
Hmm.
Which old ghosts are you working for then?
I beg your pardon?
Which old ghosts are you working for then?
Hmm. An interesting way of phrasing it. I think that you already have your suspicions, but unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information because I don't trust you. And there is the possibility that in this engagement you could kill me, meaning, from my own perspective, even if I die, I would take the secret to my grave.
There's a reason I'm a scourge. And it ain't because of this pretty face. He
I
points to his
understand.
veil.
So, shall we? Hmm. As I said, I'm currently slightly chagrined at the concept of having to do battle with you, so you tell me, how do we resolve this? And let's be honest, let us be truly honest with ourselves. You are also not exact. The reason that we are having this conversation is you are not certain of your victory either.
Well, a wise man knows never to be certain. Oh,
However, however, a fool knows that if he doubts himself, then he will surely fail.
very much so. I we You see, as you say, we could just duke it out here, but then, well, it'd be a bit of a mess.
Yes.
We're already leaving a mess, but
Hmm.
as you say, a disposable mess.
Ironically, it looks better if you and I feud with one another. Or rather, our organizations feud with one another. That means that in what is to come, you will have plausible deniability.
Hmm. We can always just play with puppets.
That is the way. Hmm.
And hey, the best thing is, you can never really run out of them.
No. We have so long and they so little. It seems to be that they just find their strings find their way onto your fingers, even without you trying. So he cracks his knuckles, like not necessarily in an offensive gesture, but in a gesture of "I'm cracking my knuckles." He'll say, "Hmm. I do believe that this situation, now that we are having such a pleasant conversation, I do believe that there is the potentiality that we can work together. If there is still interest, it could be very profitable for you."
Oh, I'm always down for a bit of profit. Be a bit of a. You can't just looks outside. Bit of an awkward explanation to the boys, but it looks like the ones most troubled I won't have to say much to. So everything should be fine. Everything will be fine.
I quite understand this perspective. I really do.
But yeah, I am always happy to make a bit of money on the side. And, well, I'm quite touched by your ambition. It's been a while.
It's not ambition. You misunderstand me entirely. It is the fact that if we do not do this, then not only Edessa will fall, many other places of value, old places, places with storied histories will be rendered to ash. I am not here because I want power. I am here because I wish to save something that is worth saving, not least of all my own skin.
A man of my own interests at heart. Well, if not profit, I'm always down for a bit of self preservation.
Yes, it would seem to be the case, wouldn't it? I'm
Which,
curious. Hmm?
oh, no, go ahead, go ahead.
To answer your question that I think you were going to pose as to which elder ghost I'm currently in the service to, the answer is the seneschal.
Uh, It was either him or one of your own. Too fair,
My own,
probably both.
my own share his opinions, which is why I am the cat's paw.
I've always found that term a bit offensive. I've always liked cats.
So have I. By the way, Bishop, I will point out that this meeting place has been specifically chosen, basically meaning that it is out in the jackass end of nowhere. But
Yeah,
it is
no
also
one's gonna fucking come here.
no, but it is also very far away from somewhere. Because what Solahdrin is planning to do is tonight he's going to basically track these people who left, the ones who left disconcerted. He is going to silently sneak up and he is going to basically black bag and blood pot them. I think my majority. Also, as I said, might embrace Scarface because she's fucking cool. But but no, he will walk away and he'll say, the idea here is simple. We are to assemble a grand coalition of gang members, of criminals, an army of ruffians, an army of scum. And with that army, we are to stop all items of occult significance, all reagents for magics, to enter into Edessa in order to hamstring the infernalists who are chipping away at our city.
Oh, how fun. Do I get to keep some?
How many of those who left are in your pocket?
Oh, I only have one major subsidiary this far out. The rest, I think one is Euphrates. The other gangs in Dessa, well, they talk a big game, not quite as big as they'd like to see themselves. Towers. I mean, Tower, how do you say? They half-ass it. I wouldn't even call them a criminal organization, to be honest. I'm rather offended that they call them, that they carry them around, themselves around as such.
I can accept this. And then again, we are all what we are, I suppose. But ultimately, how would I phrase this? Yes. If you aid me in this, you will get your share of the occult loot, as well as the property. Bear in mind, most of these come in on caravans. They don't come in by themselves. It is not like, well, unless you're Omar Shadid, in which case I'm pretty sure he would sell occult wares out of the back of a wagon, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, that's a name. That is a
Mm,
name and a half.
mm. But yes, there will be a huge amount of excess that is taken from the caravans. So spices, all other manner of oddities. So you will have your share if you sign on the dotted line. As long as any item that could be used for demonic purposes for the infernalist reasonings are themselves committed to the flame.
Of course. I like the way you phrased that.
I tend to like to use suitable metaphor. He will contemplate.
He kind of shakes his finger at you. It's been a while since I've met someone with a sense of style. Maybe apart from Gwen, but Gwen's a bit, he's off the deep end now, Knights.
Who's Gwen?
He's a toreador, has some fairly explicit tastes in art. Caused a ruckus with the old Primogen about a year ago. I think Sheriff, well, now Sheriff, had to rein him in. That was fun times.
But yes, as I said, it's pretty simple. We will do what must be done. So, shall I call off my men and you will call off yours?
Yeah, sure thing. It's going to be interesting.
I think that they've been killing each other for long enough.
Yeah, I think. We could just give it another 20 minutes. I don't think we'll have to call anyone back at that point.
Hmm. Ultimately, with the agreements I've made, my labor force has already swollen substantially, so I can afford the cat's paws if you can afford the cat's paws.
Hmm.
Wow, two people who are just clearly not on a road that is humanity.
He's gonna flip a coin.
That's the most Scarface thing, or that's the most Two-Face thing I've seen all day, literally.
Heads or tails? He says.
Heads, I should think.
Okay.
High or low, heads is high, tails is low.
Heads will get him to stop, tails we won't.
There you go.
um,
Are we horrible people? Yes.
yes, we're horrible people. So, he flips the coin. Ah, it's their lucky day. Night.
Hmm.
That term never translated very well.
It tried, bless it, but it just never rang true, did it?
No. No. Anyway, coin dictates.
Yes, yes.
And
He kind
and he just says, "Could you fucking assholes stop killing each other now?"
It's quite all right. Oh dear. It would appear as though you've bisected Suresh. Oh dear. That's messy. Okay. That's enough, boys. Back it down. Thank you.
Ah,
It would seem as though one of my new potential allies is on the ground. I should probably go and deal with that.
oh, yeah. Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, Bishop, I'm going to walk over to him. Is he alive or is he dead?
Ravnos. He looks mortally wounded. Life fading from his eyes pretty quickly, but he is still alive.
Will some
Because
B-side fix it?
Vita. I suppose it depends.
It does let you heal grievous wounds.
It allows them to use it, but if they don't know how, then if they don't actually use it.
Basically, you know what? Fuck
Because
it.
technically healing is the purview of medicine and discipline use. Or a very specific discipline, which is, the one that the Sedites hate. That they're like, that is the bad.
That
Hate,
is the
don't like
bad.
that one.
No, I mean, blood does heal grievous wounds, like it is in its purview to do.
Yeah.
You know what? He's going to cut his wrist. He's going to bleed a point into him, and he's going to say, "Will yourself to live."
That'll do it.
That's suitably amazing.
It heals. It prevents the wound from getting any worse because it's only like a point of blood. So
He'll give him another point of blood. Will yourself to live more.
you're gonna need to ghoul this asshole later.
Yeah, I'll buy him as a ghoul. Fuck it, why not? But live more.
Ravnos Scourge has like his hand over his veil in an entirely unnecessary fashion because he has a veil over his goddamn face.
I mean,
As if it's like some sort of scandal.
he has to have like a sense of style. Let's be fair.
Yeah. You can never have too much style. And what I mean by that is he needs to just wrap a dozen veils around his face.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's oh. You got Scarface, you got Scar Legs. Building up a collection of those.
Hmm.
Should have a deck of 52 by the end of tonight.
I mean, he kind of glances around at all of the death and he shrugs, like, eh. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I need to go and chase down a rather attractive lady with a set of scars on her face.
Oh yeah, be careful about that one.
Why?
I don't know. She gives me weird jibes.
Really? Hmm.
She
Oh,
is, how to put it, oddly against her own interests.
in what manner?
How to say it? She could be a ghoul, I guess. I'm not sure though.
She's not.
Oh, that's awkward. She's definitely working for someone, I think. Working with someone. I don't know. I tried to get her to work with me in the past. She started trailing me. It was weird.
Fascinating.
Took me
Well,
a good month to shake her.
he's going to extend his hand to the scourge.
Oh, you'll shake the hand of the Sedite.
After all, we low blood or we low clans need to stick together. Ravnos are a low clan, aren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Unless you're in India, in which case they're considered high because that's their homeland. Kind of like how the Assamites in the Middle East are considered a high clan, just because you're right next to Alamut. So
Yeah, but let's be fair.
technically this is your
Even
shit.
in Egypt, we're considered a low clan.
That's because what's his name? Barbers fucked you over hard.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Anyway, yeah, contrary to everything that just happened here, yes, absolutely.
as we said, puppets are puppets.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
I didn't know I could trust you. Now, I still don't think I can, but at least I know I like you.
Easier to make a friend than build trust.
Hmm.
That's what I say. It's not,
That
but it's
is
true.
that is in general the way. Bishop, I have a really important question. Oh shit, I forgot to ask it. I've seen werewolves under my aura site before.
Yes,
Was Scarface McGee either a kinfolk or a werewolf?
she's neither. Well,
Oh,
kinfolk sharp is mortal, because they are just humans with a werewolf gene, but the werewolf gene isn't active, so they don't count as werewolves. So they just count as regular mortals. So, she could be a kinfolk, but she's definitely, or she could be a regular human. She's definitely a mortal. Yeah, nothing particularly shut up in her aura. You got 4 successes. That's not 5. So no, just a regular mortal. She's nothing in
what happened?
her aura showed up as
What
strange,
happened? To five
other
in.
than pardon.
Okay.
You would have seen something else, but you would have seen something additional. But she no, she's a regular mortal. But the scourge does seem to speak some sense, like her emotional responses to you and the way she wasn't, for example, she didn't take Solahdrin's particular bait is definitely cause for it gives you pause. There is something weird going on there. She seemed to it's almost as if she was reading into something that nobody else was. It's like she had a different grasp of the situation.
In that case, yeah, you know what? He will part ways from the scourge because he's got a theory. Basically, he is going to follow. Because did they run or did they ride?
Oh, they're riding.
Yep.
Actually, another weird thing. Again, another weird thing. She leaves her entourage in the fucking dust. Everybody else goes with their entourage. She rides way ahead of them. She leaves them behind to get to town as fast as possible. She it's been some time now, like through this discussion, like she's well far gone, but you don't, with your heightened senses, because her entourage is still in the distance, you can still zoom in on it using your heightened senses. And you don't see her there.
Okay,
So
Bishop. What I'm going to
she
do is because this is genuinely interesting, and yeah. So what we're going to do is he's going to bid goodbye to the Scourge because he wants to follow her to see what the thing is. He's going to basically make sure that all of his men aren't dead. They're not all dead. Good. He's going to make sure that the chest of gold, the card of gold, is still there. Card of gold is still there.
Oh, pardon?
Is the card of gold still there?
Card of gold's still there.
Cool. I'm then going to chug down some more blood. I'm going to chug down into 3 because I'm basically saying he has it in like little vials of 3.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
At which point I'm going to spend the necessary 1 blood and 4 turns inside the tent that's still silenced from the outside because I'm going to assume this is a horrific noise in order to morph into my Typhonic Avatar state.
Okay.
I'm then going to activate my Obfuscate to run with my Typhonic Avatar state because it makes me fucking fast as hell.
Yeah, it makes you
It doubles my
quick. It doubles your movement speed, which
and at the moment I have an athletics score because it's based on your athletics and your dexterity.
Your dexterity. You only got athletics 1. Wow, Solahdrin's unfit, bro.
Yeah, but at the moment I've got I've got dexterity 7.
This is true.
Actually, no, at the moment I've got dexterity 9 because Typhonic Avatar adds +2.
Yes.
And it breaks the generation limit. So run.
So you're running. Let's see. If you're running that far, you're basically running Usain Bolt levels of quick. How fast did you run again?
I can't remember. It was stupid though. Like, hang on, I think it's in the book. Give me a second. I'm curious if we can find the actual running speed. Because I mean, at this point, I'm making a horse look like it's made of molasses.
Stop making me do math, Google.
Are you literally looking up how fast Usain Bolt was?
Trying to get an average run speed. Well, apparently, one study suggests that humans could run as fast as 40 miles an hour, but I know that's not true. Okay, well, the fastest he's ever ran is 27.8, so he's running about almost 30 miles an hour. So, wow, good on you, Usain Bolt. Things you know.
Yes. At this point, I'm running with dexterity 9. I am so far above the human peak. Hang on, let's see if there actually is a thing in the book because there should be. Applying damage. It should be near the strength chart, I'd assume. Physical feats. Here it is, page 333.
Because you had, because I'm trying to verify the distance between you.
If jogging may move at 12 plus dexterity. If all out running, which we'll assume this is the case, if all out running, a character moves as 20 plus 3 times dexterity.
20 plus 3 times dex?
Yeah.
69? Lamau memes.
Yeah, so 69. So 69.
Wait, no, it's 20 plus 3 times dex.
Yeah, it's 20 plus 3. I don't. Why is there a plus 3? Why couldn't it just be times dex?
I need to look this up. I'm confused.
It's on page 333.
I might. This doesn't involve athletics. I'm going to be pissed.
It doesn't.
What the hell? Wow. Okay. Screw that then. Should involve athletics. What the heck?
Yeah,
You can
that makes no sense to me.
you can move really fast. You have
Because
very high decks.
at that point, hang on. At that point, I'm moving at 120 meters per round.
With celerity, does that mean you could just like break exit
Yes,
velocity? What the fuck is going on here?
possibly.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore those rules before you fly into space and burn in the sun. You can have it go extremely fast because you're in Sedite Beast form. You have very high decks. You have celerity. You can move very, very quickly. I think that goes without saying. How long your conversation of the Scourge was about 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I'd say between 20, let's say 20, 25 for a good median.
25 minutes. That's been a little bit. Her entourage has been. You catch up to entourage pretty quickly. You catch up to it within a few minutes because it had made some. It's fairly dispersed. It's not like we're just gonna travel in some column like some sort of merchant caravan. It's not necessarily about securing a specific carriage or a specific entity within the group, more than it is just ensuring a presence and having mobility. A lot of the entourage is actually just straight up on horseback. There aren't actually a lot of carriages. There are some that are. They're all moving pretty quickly, though.
He's then going to basically start speeding by them and chasing her.
Yeah. Yeah, because but keep in mind, you go up to the entourage because you don't see her in the distance. She was too far out.
Can I heighten senses to follow her smell?
Hmm. I'm just trying to think. Would you need her scent initially, or do you just need to catch it now?
In theory, I could just follow the horse. I can smell horse. So if there's more horse in that general direction, it probably means it's her.
Yeah, that's true. You can take a you can take a couple minutes out to try and catch a scent. It'll take you a little bit just because
Yeah.
it's jack middle of fucking nowhere. But
Welcome to Bumfuck. Pretty mouth.
But yeah, your Allspecs will allow you to make this roll. It won't boost it though, because normally a Canite wouldn't be able to do this. But
yeah,
you
that's
can
fine.
because you have the sight, or in this case, the smell.
The nose knows.
The nosiest of noses.
If it helps, tonight has already been like a groundbreaking success, ironically, considering I already thought I was going to murder the Scourge, but then we just got on really well.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm down for ruining lives. Don't worry about it, bro.
I mean, it's also, low clans unite. Let's go fuck over the high clans, because screw those guys. So perception alertness, is it?
Yes, it would be perception. Tracking's actually perception and survival. That's actually tracking is survival, so it'll be that instead.
I don't think I had. Do I have survival on slot? I do
I
not.
do. Oh,
I will just roll and +1 diff. And spend a willpower. I've spent 3 willpower in this thing.
Oh god.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. One success.
Yeah, maybe it's the fact that it's because there's been a lot of horses traveling this direction because of our entourage that you struggle to pick up a scent. So you do pick up her scent, but it's about, instead of being like 2 minutes later, it's about half an hour later. It takes you a while to pick up the scent of her or her horse.
I mean, to be fair, in that length of time, what he's going to do is he's just going to follow the other person.
Pardon?
He's just going to follow the other people on horses. They're riding to where she is.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. In which case, they head towards the city.
Towards towards Odessa or a different city?
They're actually heading towards Odessa. They slowly begin to disperse as they begin to approach Odessa. Which again is kind of strange, given that you took it considering that you took that this was a nomadic group.
In that case, as it's taken him about half an hour to find her scent, when he gets her scent, he's going to start following that.
Okay.
Because, like, bear in mind, this meeting wasn't set for like ridiculously late at night. It was set for like maybe an hour after sunset, because he would have gone there the previous evening and basically slept during the day there, because it wouldn't be easy for people to come very late at night there, if that makes sense. Because traveling.
You'd be able to get back to the domain and have about an hour to spare before like really pushing yourself. Like, okay, it's like half an hour until sunrise. I should probably go home now. So you have a fair bit of time.
Okay. Gonna follow.
He's gonna follow. Yeah, you're still ways out of the city, but as you follow the scent, her entourage, which is probably a little bit ahead of you because you've had to slow down to keep maintain the scent a little bit. It's not that far ahead of you. It's like a few hundred yards. They begin to disperse. Some of them start heading towards a hamlet near Odessa. Others kind of begin to head off closer to Odessa, but sort of in the surrounding heathland rather than near any civilized territory. And the most of the carriages with a small group of horses begin heading towards Odessa proper. Her scent takes you towards Odessa, not the surrounding countryside.
Okay, into Odessa we go.
You make your way into Odessa. And you begin following her scent. Kind of takes you down a fairly winding set of roads. Like, she did not take the optimal route at all. It also is a bit harder to follow her scent inside the city, but you're able to do it. She took a very obscure set of. She took a very obscure route. It's not optimal. It's not fast. It's very winding, meandering. It loops back on itself more than once.
Mm-hmm.
Which again makes the scent even harder to follow because you realize you're going in circles and you're trying to catch the scent, but you do manage to keep following even when it loops back in on itself. And it begins to take you toward the Prophet's Quarter.
What the fuck is the Prophet's Quarter?
The Prophet's Quarter of Odessa is one of the main. Is basically one of the main Islamic quarters, one of the main Islamic residential areas. You've got the Christian quarter, you've got the Jewish quarter, you've got the nobles quarter, which kind of is irrelevant in all this. They just have their own quarter because they're rich. And then you have the Prophet's Quarter, which is basically the Islamic quarter, basically.
Whose domain is in the Prophet's Quarter?
Let me double check. It's an outdated map, but I will look it up quick.
Because I am Solahdrin, Lord of breaching other people's domains.
Well, there is. You know that there is a cemetery. It's very small. It's a very small domain because it's just a cemetery. It's not a street. It's a cemetery in the Prophet's Quarter. It's a small domain. It's the domain of a Cappadocian neonate. I'm just going to look up his name real quick for you. There is also in the very bottom right-hand corner of the Prophet's Quarter, there is the Merchant of Bones' domain. Again, his is very small.
Dinky domains.
Yeah, it's it's the size of about 1.5 men ones. The Cappadocian who runs the cemetery is called Baylor. He's a Cappadocian neonate. Do you know someone runs a fairly sizable domain, which actually for following her scent you end up passing through, which belongs to a Ravnos. And his name is Himat.
Cool. I continue going.
Okay. As you begin to move on, and you feel like you're beginning to get a bit closer now. Solahdrin might be wondering just how far this scent goes on. But the scent leads you to a row of buildings in the Prophet's Quarter. It's not you're not entirely sure which building she entered because your survival check wasn't unfortunately wasn't very good. But you know she's around here because the trail ends here.
All right, I'm going to go into a dark alleyway or a thing, and I'm going to drop out of my Typhonic Avatar state.
Yeah, I assume you've been using Obfuscate this whole time.
Yeah. But he's going to walk around. Basically, he's going to walk around with his heightened senses hearing on. He's going to try and hear her voice.
Yes, I will mention to you as you do this, Solahdrin is beginning to feel slightly tired, as in the sun is going to be coming up fairly soon, but not too soon. You've got maybe, let's see, you had an hour when you entered the desert, so you took a winding route, which was unfortunate, but that was where the scent took you. So you maybe have about half an hour?
Mm-hmm.
It is getting close to sunrise, but you go listening around for her voice. It is fairly early on in the morning now, so there's not too many people out on the streets. You're not risking overstimulation. And if you'd just like to roll me perception, alertness, difficulty 8. Not entirely sure where you should be listening into, but no, unfortunately you cannot catch a voice of that. Perhaps it's because you're on the street and there are still some people out in the early morning, in the earliest of mornings.
Since he can't hear the voice, Solahdrin just kind of pops back into a dark alleyway. He drops his obfuscate and he walks out. Is there a beggar or like someone on the street like who's been clearly sitting here for a while?
I'll roll a chance die for you. You get a 6. So yes, he is asleep, however. But he might have caught something in the corner of his eye.
He nudges him. He basically the beggar will be woken by the clinking sound as gold denarii or gold whatever the fucking name of our currency is fall into his begging bowl.
I think it is it denarii? I think it is dinars.
Yeah, denarii. So golden dinars. As golden dinars drop one by one into his begging bowl.
Thank you, kind sir.
For the record, I've just given him a small fortune. I will point that out.
Oh no, yeah, yeah. He doesn't. He kind of he doesn't actually look at the bowl. He just hears like the sound of coins dropping and just like says that on reflex.
You might want to open your eyes.
Oh, sweet prophet!
That's it. A woman with scars on her face. Where does she live? He drops another one into the bowl.
Just him going, come on, Himmel, think! This man ain't throwing this opportunity away, he ain't throwing this fucking fortune away. Yes, scarred-faced maiden, yes. Broad, some graying hairs, not from age, but trauma.
Another one falls into the bowl.
Yes, I believe I have seen her on occasion in these, in this street in particular. She, I couldn't say whether or not she lives here, but she definitely visits fairly frequently.
Where?
He turns and then leans, and then his finger, it kind of almost looks like it's aiming, like it's looking for the door, and then that one, yes. He points to the door halfway along the street. It's about the seventh, eighth door along the street.
Very good. He will turn and drop one last denarii into the bowl before he'll walk away.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Ever so kind of.
I just gave him practically enough money to go buy a house in the slums. That's all I choose to say.
Thank you, sweet prophet. he begins praising Allah.
Honestly, I might buy that guy as a contact because he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he is a servant of Muhammad, so he is the enemy.
Yeah. But I'm going to walk up to that door. And I'm going to knock very loudly. Bang, 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 bang on the door.
Do you have heightened hearing up? Do you still have heightened hearing up?
Will that cause overstimulation if I do?
No.
Okay, then yes.
Okay. Yeah, you're on the street. Like some of the people on the street, and there aren't many. It's more like passers-by. There's no one hanging around on the street apart from the one homeless guy. They're a bit distracting, but you can still, if you focus your hearing, you can stretch your senses out very far. Like you could probably hear the other, like down the other side of the street. What you do hear is a ratcheting sound, a series of a few ratcheting sounds actually, and how to put it? It's slight crackling sound. And you can hear multiple people inside breathing. But the breathing comes to an abrupt halt when you knock. Like everyone holds their breath, and that's when you hear all the other sounds, the less human sounds. And then you hear tentative footsteps coming towards the door, but it's only one person. Only one person is actively walking. You can hear the creaks of people shifting their position, but not actually moving from their spot.
Mm-hmm. He just waits for the door to be opened.
The door opens. And same woman appears. She looks rather surprised that you found her. She also looks... It's weird. Her initial it's like a... It's almost like a sort of a look of surprise that within a second almost turns to a why am I surprised? Like it just turns into this sort of grim, irritated look of like, why do I even bother?
I had one question that drew me all the way here from the hinterlands.
She closes her eyes for a good few seconds. They like, they kind of look a bit pained. And she gently, with one arm on the frame of the door and another is quite obviously placed on an arming sword she has around her waist. She has a lot of swords on. She has one sword on each side of her waist, and a bastard sword on her strapped to her back. And she just says, "And what is that?"
Why didn't you drink the wine?
Am I obligated to drink your wine?
No. I'm curious why you didn't, however.
Because I didn't want to.
Why?
None of your business.
Oh, but I think it is. You managed to track someone for an entire month who's very difficult to track.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? She hand does slip away from the door frame. Do you smell you do smell because you do have heightened sense of smell. The smell a bit acrid inside.
Define acrid for me.
Smoky.
If I didn't know better, I'd swear that you're preparing explosives.
If I could make those, I would have given them to the rest of my boys.
Valid. So why? What is with the acrid stench of smoke? What is it that you are doing? Come now. We're going to cut this little cat and mouse game because I don't find it interesting. I don't think you find it interesting either. There's something about you that is interesting, and I'm curious what it is. Equally as much, you've come to the assertion that there was also something interesting about me. I believe it was roughly about the time when I put someone's head through a solid wood table.
She takes a single step back from the door.
As in
Not-
inviting me to come in, or?
No. Just seemingly in caution. And she just says, not often that you see someone get their body driven straight through a table.
It's not often that you are able to keep track of someone who is incredibly difficult at being found if he chooses not to be. I was led. The phrase uncanny insight was used. By the way, I can still see her aura.
Oh yeah. A lot of orange now.
Fear is orange, isn't it?
Fear is orange, yes. A lot of orange now. It's entirely made up of orange and purple.
What's purple again?
Purple is aggression.
I have no wish to fight you. Don't worry. I merely.
Actually, there is another color.
Hmm?
If you're focusing cleanly on her, you'll get more information because you're only focusing on one person now. At the core, there is deep black.
What is black?
Hateful.
Ah, now I understand. You're a hunter. He says that entirely calmly. We're going to roll initiative, Chris.
No, she actually just takes another step back and she says, about 10 minutes until the sun rises.
About that. Yes. The question is if I can. I am right, however, I sense. That's why you hunted him for a month. Impressive. Very good. If it helps, you have, and I have no quarrel. The way I see it, I appreciate those who are. I appreciate those who are able to hunt. After all, there are monsters in the night.
That is why I'm here. Although
If it helps, you have my word that though I am different, I am not the same as the things that you hunt. They come from a base, profane thing that is wrong on every level. I, on the other hand, do not. We have nothing in common on the base level of our core. And interestingly enough, Bishop, he's not, from his perspective, lying. But you are right. The sun will rise soon. It does have that odd little tendency, doesn't it? But this has been very pleasurable meeting you.
It's been a very, very interesting evening.
He will sigh exasperatedly and he'll say, if it helps, I know where your friends live in that little hamlet. I know that you are here. But I swear that I will make no use of this information because honestly, you being here is more valuable to me than you not being here. Because as I said, there are monsters, there are reprobates, there are things that need to be policed. And I believe that you being here may be of a benefit as opposed to being a hindrance.
Hmm. I suppose we'll see how that pans out.
He'll denote the 3 mark because there are 3 marks on her face. Yes,
Oh yeah.
I assume that was done by claws.
I have a fairly substantial history.
Of that, I have no doubt. In that case, my dear, I shall bid you good evening. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been enlightening.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
With that, he'll take 2 steps back.
Double close.
He will step into the shadows and will obfuscate and will run home because sun.
Yeah, that is something. Yeah. You do have like a good 10-15 minutes, so you're not actually in much danger, particularly since you have celerity and obfuscate. Quickly make it back to a place of rest.
That's some rooftop running shenanigans.
Yeah, that's also easy because you have potence. Yeah, you make your way back to your haven, and well, what an interesting evening it has been. So many contacts have been made tonight. It's been quite the successful business venture. People from all walks of life have found themselves bound to Solahdrin. It's been a very pleasant evening.
Yeah. On a side note, Bishop, I'm just going to point out that tomorrow evening, am I that much of a cunt? Yeah, I'm that much of a cunt. You know how you know no, I'll blue book that. That seems like it would be a better blue booking. But there might be some names and some addresses that might be slipped under a door.
All right, and I think with that wonderful piece of information, that rather beautiful statement right there, truly self-control worthy for a Toreador. We shall end it there. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.